Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name's Lindsay and today I'm going to teach you how to do a halo eye with using only drugstore products. So please like and subscribe and let's get started. Now I've already applied my primers. I am wearing first the e.l.f. Suntouchable sunscreen as my primer for that nice beautiful glow. Then I'm using the Milani Conceal and Perfect in the Blur Out Smoothing Primer just on my nose and where I'm most of my pores. And then my Wet n Wild Premium Serum Hydrate Primer for underneath my eyes. So I've been letting that kind of sit in for a little bit. Now I'm going to apply my foundation and my base. Now you can do your eyes first or your base first, but usually I tend to do my base first. But if you like to do your eyes first, by all means, please do. But first I'm going to start off with my e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand in the color Contour. And I'm just going to look for the shadows on my cheeks and where I mostly have shadows and kind of intensify it. Now you could totally skip this part. I only do this really when I actually have the time or I'm filming, or you know, just if I want to play a little bit more today with makeup. So I'm just going to apply that right where I saw the shadows on my cheeks and then the shadows underneath my chin. I do have a pretty small chin, so I kind of try to define it as much as I can. I'm just going to take a brush, this little brush, this 47 brush from Sephora, and I'm just going to press that in. Now I like to do this first and then apply all my stuff on top. And press, press, press. And then press it underneath here, just to try to give me more of a jawline. Now I'm going to take my bronzer. This is the Makeup Revolution bronzer in the shade Light. This is a pretty pigmented bronzer, so I like to use this usually when I'm underpainting. So I'll just kind of push that up here, just where, you know, the sun always hits your face. That's what a bronzer is for. Now I know there's some bronzers that are a little on the cooler side and it's kind of like can do double duty. Get my hair out of the way. But this one is very warm, so I keep that up top. And I'm going to apply a little bit of this on my nose, just the littlest bit. Because you know, when out in the sun, that's kind of where you get the warmth from the sun. And I'm just going to apply just a little bit more. Always go in light layers first because you can always add more later. So I'm going to put that aside. Now there's still a little bit on this brush, which I love to have just the tiniest bit left on the brush. And now I'm going to apply my foundation. This is the L'Oreal True Match in 2. And I love to use these little acrylic kind of like mixing pads. Palette. You could slip it onto your hand or you could just hold it regular, but I'm going to put my foundation there. I kind of just swirl it around just to distribute it onto my palette. I'm just going to take this Rose and Bin C42 and I'm just going to stipple my brush in there really lightly. And it's very light across my brush. And I am just going to apply my foundation on the outer perimeters of where I applied that bronzer and contour. Same here. It's a very beautiful foundation. And it actually matches me right now because a lot of my foundations right now are too dark. As you know, we just moved up here in July from Florida. So going from Florida to Seattle, Just absolutely completely different. Everything about it is completely different, which I love because I love to discover and live new places. If you ever watch any of my other videos, we are a military family. This is our like 6th, 7th move. I lost count. I'm just pressing all this in. I love this brush. I did a brush video and it got posted couple, depending what time this video goes up. I just posted it a couple days ago at this time, and of course me learning editing and everything, and I guess I tried to edit it on my phone and I cut out the very end of my video and I couldn't find that video anywhere, and it was just so, you know, I was a little aggravated at myself, but I'm learning. So I'm just going to take that brush, add a little bit of that bronzer left in, and just go right where I had to put that bronzer and just make sure everything's nicely blended. I totally forgot to use my color corrector. I can kind of put it a little bit. Can't go as crazy as I usually do, especially wearing this purple shirt today. I'll need color corrector. If I'm wearing a purple or a blue shirt or a purple or a blue eye look, I have to use color corrector because it just pulls that color underneath my eyes so much. I saw Morphe came out with new concealers and color correctors. I think I might try the color corrector. I don't know if I'll try the concealer. My concealer I'm going to use today is, because I accidentally picked it up. Where did it go? Oh, it's right here. Is the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. My go-to concealer every day is the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer. It's a beautiful concealer. Very pigmented, lightweight on me, and I think it's a great concealer, but I am going to use this today. I will mix this sometimes with my High Glam concealer, especially if I'm, you know, a little lighter or not using as much bronzer. I'll mix it because this concealer can be, it's like right at my skin tone. If I need a little bit of a highlighter look or a little lighter under eyes, I'll throw a little bit of this in there. But I really like this concealer. I never put too much concealer on because of my under eye creases. Right underneath here, it's a nice little crease there, and of course there. I never like to put too much concealer because concealer is, you know, usually a little on the heavier side, more pigmented side. I just try to keep as much product out of that area of my eye as possible. So more product you put there, the more likely it is to crease. So I'm just tapping that concealer in right where I put it. Now I'm going to take what's remaining on my brush, kind of bring it out here, down, and then a little bit into this little pocket of your eye. Blend it out really nicely. Mirrors in my lap. Yeah. Pretty. Now I'm going to use my e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is in the color light pink. I don't find it has too much pink to it, just a little bit. So I'm going to get that out onto my cap. Sorry, I'm not used to the camera being so close, but since I'm going to teach you how to do a halo eye, I didn't want to have you too far and not be able to see. Now I'm going to warm up my finger. I use my ring finger because it's one of my most delicate fingers, and I'm just going to kind of tap to make sure I don't have any buildup of product. Nothing's in those creases. Then I'm going to take my brush. I'm gonna prime my brush. Really get it in there, tap off the excess, look up, and lightly set underneath my eyes. This is such a delicate area. I try to be so soft with it. Now I'm going to use the remaining of that powder and kind of just go and set the rest of my face. Any more powder. I always prime that brush, get that powder in there, and then set my face. I like the Halo Glow because it does a pretty good job setting my makeup, especially right now during the winter up here. I don't need too much, you know, mattifying, but it does a very good job of setting. A little bit more, that should be good. Really work that into my brush. And then I'm going to set here, because I like to set my bronzer, and if I use a cream blush, with a matching color in that bronzer, with a powder bronzer or a powder blush. All right, that is all set. Now today, I'm gonna kind of do a bronzer type. This is from Wet n Wild. This is called Naked Brown. I find this is a beautiful, like, bronzer. It is a matte, so I'm just gonna take, I think first I'm gonna take this brush. This is another Rose and Ben, the C40. And I'm gonna kind of push that into where I applied my bronzer up here. And I'm gonna dab it back in. And then I'm gonna kind of go a little bit more where I put the bronzer on the side of my, on my cheeks. And just kind of push that in. Since I'm using it as a bronzer and a blush, I don't have to be so strategic with it. It's a really pretty color. It is on the lighter side, so I do have to build it, which is fine. I'd rather have to build it than try to fix it, because I went a little too crazy. Now I'm just going to just use a little bit of this. Kind of set anything I put down here. Bring a little bit on my ears, not too much. And then for highlight, I'm going to use this Essence Kissed by the Light in the color Star Kiss. This is a really pretty highlighter. I don't like a beaming highlighter. I like the lit within highlighter. So I'm just going to take this light, kind of fluffy brush and just swirl all those little colors together. And lightly dust it on top of my cheekbones. Hit my eye. I just like a nice, glowy, as youthful as I can get look. I'll put that away. Next, I'm going to do is my brows. I hate doing my brows, but it makes the biggest difference on anything. If I have to run out of the door, I will always at least do my brows, throw on mascara, and then try to do a touch of concealer or something because of my dark under eye circles, but the brows are a big thing. It does help that I do color my brows about once a month with the Just for Men beard tint. I use the color medium brown, and I color them once a month. It takes about 10 minutes. I put it on. I make sure I do it like the night before, at night, because you don't really want to go anywhere right after applying that, because it does stain the skin a little bit, but by the morning the stain's pretty much gone. I hate doing this brow. I'm just going to fill in any of the little sparse areas. I love the NYX brow line. I haven't tried the new pencil they came out with, because these pins are just so good. This is the Lift and Snatch pin in Ash Brown. And now I'm going to use the NYX Thick It Stick It. These I use every single day. I'll every now and then grab towards my old Anastasia brow pencil, brow wiz that I have, just so I can use it, because I try to use as much of the stuff I already have before I go out and buy anything new. But now I'm just going to set my brows. Now this doesn't have like a huge set to it. If you really need something to set your brows, this is not the product. But I have very fine brows, so I mainly need this for the fibers that is in the product, to try to get my brows as much volume and thickness that I can. And I do like more of a thicker brow because I don't have them. So I try to make them because I don't have them. Alright, I think the complexion's pretty much done. Nice and simple, nothing crazy. Let me put that away. Now we're going to start with the eyes. There's a lot of different ways to kind of do a halo eye. I'm just going to kind of tell you like steps. Some people will put their eyeliners down first, or a cream shadow down first, and then add eyeshadow on top, which is a beautiful way. I also do it that way. It's just a different way to get to the same place. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to do shadows, then I'm going to do eyeliner, and then of course mascara. Now I never finish one step of my eyeshadow and then move on to the next step and never revisit that step. I always go back and revisit the steps of my eyeshadow, just because I like that more blended look. And if you do the one color and then the next color and then the shadow on top and leave it like that, it does not blend very well. So adding one color, then go back to the next color, it kind of just, as I'll show you, it'll just make it a nice, softer, more blended look. So first, I'm going to do a nice kind of like bronzy halo eye. I am going to do a little bit of a heavier halo eye so it comes up more on camera. But I'm going to stay more in these warm tones. I'm using the ColourPop Your Golden palette. I think this is a beautiful palette. It's a beautiful neutral warm palette. And I love the kind of just one pop of blue, but I love to use that. I'll use that as like a little accent, usually with a liner kind of look, or using on my bottom lash line or somewhere on my lash line. That's where I usually like to use that color. But first I'm going to get me a nice fluffy brush. I'm just looking for it. Get rolled. And I'm going to use a nice transition shade. So I like the color Covet. And I'm just going to tap that right in there. Now this color, as you could tell, it is very dusty, which is fine. But this is why it's good to do your eyes first. If you're using a powder, you know it's a little dusty. But I just kind of get in the brush, and I'll show you, but I'll tap and get that pigment into my brush. So it's tapping that pigment down into my brush. And then I'll just, better safe than sorry. But light taps, you don't need to go crazy. And I am just gonna kind of push this on my lid very gently. A soft transition shade. You want something pretty soft, almost that kind of disappears into your skin but leaves a little bit of color to kind of blend everything into. If you need to apply, I am so sorry, that is my cat. She's partially deaf, so she does these big meows. Well, she probably is completely deaf, that's what the vet said. But she'll do these big meows, and it's amazing in the middle of the night when she does it. Oh, I just broke my mirror. So, just gonna kind of pat that in. She probably will do it again. She's hanging out in my closet, which is kind of like in our bathroom. And she likes to sleep in there. So she's just letting us know that she's still around. So I'm going to use an eye color, and then I'm going to gently just make sure it's all blended. Now I'm going to take a medium tone eyeshadow, and I like the color, where is it? I'm going to use the color Prime Time. I would use this one, but I feel like that's just a little too warm, and I want something a little, I don't know, I just like the tone of the shadow better. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to grab that same brush, and I'm going to use this brush now just on the outer parts of my eye. I don't want to use this brush on the inner part of my eye because of how big it is. So a halo eye is where you have the darker shadows on the outer corners of the eyes and on the inner corner, and leaving the middle either completely bare with a white shadow or a shimmer shadow, but that in the middle of your eye is where the lightest color is. So I'm just going to put this, first going to stamp it down, and then kind of bring it up to my crease a little bit, but not going across. I'm just kind of stamp it and try to keep it in that one little area. And I'm going to do it again, but on the other side. I'm going to stamp it and bring it up, just so I have that nice transition. I'm going to kind of softly go over that. Now I'm going to take it again, but this time just still on the tip of my brush. I'm going to keep that right there, and I'm not going to bring it up at all. Keep it right there. And I'm going to do that again, but on my other eye. And I'm just going to keep it and press it right there. And I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm pressing really softly. So I'm keeping my hand on the back of my eyeshadow brush, but just pressing it in softly. Now I am going to take a smaller brush, smaller, fluffier, lighter brush, and I have it here. And I'm going to use that on my inner corners because my inner corner is a lot smaller than my outer, so I need to then reduce the size of my brush. So I'm going to go into that same shadow as I use on the outer, and I'm just going to tap it right in the middle, right onto the tips of my brush. And I'm going to do the same exact thing, but on the inner part of my eye. I'm pushing it in, then I'm kind of bringing it up to that crease. This is a softer brush, so it's not going to pick so much product up, so I might have to do this side a little bit more, like my inner corners a little more than I would my outer corners. Because this is also like a dual fiber, softer applying brush. Which is good because my eyes are a little more closer together. So I don't want to make this too dark on my inner corners. Because if I put this really dark on the inner corners, like really dark, it makes my eyes closer together. If I put it really dark on the outer corners and lighter on the inner corners, it brings your eyes out a little bit. If your eyes are kind of like, you feel like in the middle, then you could do the same tone on each side. It's really up to you what you think looks best on your face. Everyone asks me like, oh, what do you think? How should I do it? And a lot of times, I mean, I could tell you what I think, but it's whatever you think. Whatever you think looks the best on you. Whatever you feel more confident with or you like the style of. So I'll tell you my opinion, but really it should always be up to you. So now I'm going to take this little dense kind of packer brush, sorry, and I am going to use the color Cover Up, and I'm just going to get it on the very tip of my brush. This one doesn't kind of crumble as much as that Covet color. That first color I used really was like dusty. These, I have not had that problem. So I'm going to push this right on my lash line, but keeping it in the outer corner. I'm going to do the same on this side. Keeping it at the outer corner and keeping it right at my lash line. Then I'm going to do the same for my inner corner. Keeping it right at my lash line again. Trying to make sure my little mirror doesn't get in your way. Right at my lash line again. Now you can always deepen up these colors more, of course change the colors, whatever you want to do. This is just kind of like a step of what, you know, it does to do a halo eye. Now your next step is your bottom lash line. So you can either just do a regular smoky lower lash line, or no lower lash line, or put just a little liner and that's it, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to do a halo lower lash line today, just so I can show you. So we're going to work backwards. So I'm going to use the color I just used on the same little brush, tap it in there, and I'm going to press it, and I'm going to mimic pretty much what I did to the top, but on my lower lash line. I'm trying not to use the like weird faces to do my makeup, because I'll be editing and I'm like, why did I make that face? I'm going to put this now in the inner corner. I did this look with this beautiful like burgundy and this beautiful palette, and of course this ColourPop, and of course ColourPop discontinued that palette, and I still have it, and I love it so much. I don't know if anyone still has it or they've gotten rid of it. It is the So Jaded palette when they did with Kathleen Light. I love this palette so much, and I'm almost scared to use it because I don't want to like use it all. I know that's dumb. You're never gonna really use a palette all, at least with the amount of stuff I have in my collection. Now I'm gonna kind of like connect these two shadows like right there, because it's the same shadow. I'm just gonna kind of connect that. Now I'm gonna take a smaller brush, that little smaller brush I used earlier, and I'm going to go back to Prime Time, which was right above it, right on the tip, but then I'm going to take it and I'm going to squish my brush until it's like a little fan brush, and I'm just going to press that underneath that last color, because we're mimicking what we did on top. But I'm going to stop here. I'm not going to use that lighter color just because I just don't really want to add that lighter color. It's not going to make that big of a thing. And then I'm going to kind of dust off this brush, and I'm going to take it. And because it's such a light brush, I'm just going to make sure this is all blended. So, really pretty. Now, I'm going to put a lighter color in the middle. And you can either put a matte light color in the middle, or you can do a shimmer, or whatever you want to do. I'm going to take my eyeshadow, and it's the lightest color in the palette, and I'm just going to kind of place that on the center. And I take my finger and kind of dot it, like pat it over. I'm going to take that onto the center, take my finger, pat it over, same brush. I'm going to take it right here in the center of my lower lash line. So it's nice and soft and highlighted. Then I'm going to look for a nice like warmer, I want a little sparkle to it. I think I'm going to do, guys, I think I'm going to do On Ice I'm going to mix On Ice and Jet Set together. So I'm going to first dab onto On Ice and then Jet Set. Jet Set's a little lighter. And I'm just going to kind of press that right in the middle. Of course, you can go with a darker in the middle, you can go lighter, you can do whatever you want. But then I like to take this and kind of just bring it up to the brow bone. Such a pretty eye. I'm going to take a little bit of my fluffy brush and I'm going to go into that first color that we used for transition. And I'm just going to kind of pat that right where I'm joining that shimmer in my rest of my eyeshadow for the halo eye. I'm going to pat that right there and then go into that darker color with that same brush. See, I never like just stop with one color and not go back to that color because sometimes I need to re-intensify or blend with that color. Alright, oh, forgot to do my lower lash line. So I'm just going to go in the Jet Set, the lightest one, and kind of push it in. And sometimes if it's more of a going out look, I'll kind of let the glitter kind of come down just a tad bit. So now that I got the glitter in the middle going and I like the look, I don't want to go too heavy today. I had to go pick up my son at after school care, and I already got a couple looks sometimes with the makeup I'll show up in, so kind of don't want to show up in anything too dramatic today. Now I'm going to add eyeliner. I love this NYX eyeliner and it's in the color Golden Bronze. It's a beautiful color. And I'm going to add this on my lower lash line, but keeping away from my center where I have the halo. So I'm just going to put that right there. It has a little bit of, of course, a metallic to it, so it kind of brightens up that bottom, but still also adding depth. Now I'm going to curl my lashes. I know this isn't drugstore, but this Shiseido eyelash curler is the best for my eye shape. And I've been having it for about 10 years, and I just have to change out the little pads every now and then. So, and I know a lot of the brushes I used were not, you know, drugstore, but brushes, they'll last forever if you take care of them properly. Now I'm going to use this LA Girl Shockwave metallic eyeliner in the color Brown Sugar. This is a beautiful eyeliner. I'm going to tight line underneath and then put it on top of my lash line just to add a little depth. I really like these eyeliners. These are great eyeliners. And cheap too. I'm going to add this on top. Just add a little bit more to it. Such a pretty color. Now I'm going to do mascara, and I'm going to use the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal Mascara. I really like this mascara. It's a good mascara. Unfortunately, I am, if you can tell, my lashes on this side, I am missing my lashes right in the middle. your hair grows in a cycle. So I forget what the name of each cycle is called. So your hair grows out and then eventually, you know, it falls out, it sheds, and then a new one will come in. So those hairs right there, right in the middle, decided they're going to do it at the same time. I already have a little hairs kind of growing in, so give it a bit, and I'll have my lashes back there. Just kind of a pain. I would put on falsies, but I really don't feel like putting on falsies right now. I'm not a huge falsie person. Just I feel like if you use them every day, putting that glue on your lash line, I don't think it would be the best thing for your eyes. So not too much, just try not to go crazy. All right, now I had a little bit of chapstick on. I'm going to use the lifter liner and on it. I love this color. I have all these liners except for the red and the super pale pink. I try to buy them whenever they're like on sale, where it's like buy one get one 50% off at Ulta or whatever. Now I'm going to use this Flower Beauty. I don't know what, I think this color is called Perfect Pout. It's a satin, like warm tone. All these warm tones really bring out my blue eyes. So now I'm going to use just a little bit of a Brighten Up powder. This is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, and I'm going to add this underneath my eyes. I'm going to use the same powder brush from before. And I'm going to press that underneath my eye. I am trying this out. I had this years ago. I got rid of it because I just didn't like how it was looking. Then I heard it got reformulated. I'm just going to kind of add this in the middle. And I really like my Too Faced one. It's in the Park Avenue Princess palette. In here. I pretty much keep this palette for these two colors right here. I know I can take them out, depot them, and put them in a Z palette, but I'll use the bronzers as it goes because I don't want to waste. But these are beautiful, so I'm trying to see, what is this like? Is this as pigmented, not as pigmented? You know, I'm trying to figure out what's my thoughts on it. And that'll be in a later video. But yeah, I think that is the look. I love halo eyes. I think they look beautiful. I think they go with pretty much any eye shape. And of course you can customize the color, the depth, and where you want the depth on each eye for your eye shape. But halo eyes is my go-to. They're my favorite. So when one of my subscribers asked me to kind of teach it, I was like, oh yeah, I'm on it. Like, I'm literally filming this the next day, so I don't have any place to go, but I will look nice and glam going to pick up my son. But I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you have any questions or any requests, what you would like me to do or try, or whatever it is, please leave it in the comments below. You can also follow me on my Instagram, Lindsay and Makeup. But thank you so much for stopping by, and y'all have a beautiful day. Bye.